Hey Marcus, how are you?
Good, Zach. How you doing?
Good. New quarterback again. I'm just curious. We can talk all day about how Carson Wentz has done. Actually, from someone who's been with him every day, what's he been like behind the scenes and on the field? Has his um, performance met what you kind of thought it would be?
Yes, I mean he's been great, both in in the meeting room and on the field. Meeting room, bringing a lot of ideas of this is the time of the year where we're trying to okay, this is our offense, this is what this is what we run, and then he bring in some ideas. Okay, what fits him, what to his skill set. Um, you know, I, what Frank and in this offense, the way we built it is to be able to adapt to quarterbacks. Obviously, we had to do it the last 3 years with different quarterbacks, and so we're doing that this offseason, seeing what meshes, what he's going to be comfortable with, how he reads different schemes that we have. Because I mean, a lot of the schemes are very similar to what he's done in the past, but just trying to get on the same page so we kind of talk the same language. And I think that's gone very well. I think we're in a great place right there. And then on the field, I thought he had a great 2 weeks here, getting a rhythm with the receivers, being able to take some give some handoffs to the running backs, working that footwork out. I thought we got a lot accomplished over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Marcus, just so it's not all quarterbacks today, how have you seen Nahiem Hines, I guess, grow as a running back in your time here?
Definitely. From year one to, I mean, from last year, he's definitely a weapon. It's a guy that you could trust in the backfield. To even just hand the ball off. They always talk about, get him out the backfield, getting him in space. But I mean, he does a great job in between the tackles where he's able to get through there and then use his speed to create explosive plays for us. And I thought he's just grown. His vision has grown. His patience has grown running through the holes. And that just comes with experience. And, I'm looking forward to, being able to utilize what he brings to our offense this year.
We talked to him last week, and he took great exception to the tag that he's been a gadget player. He thinks that was a big knock. Do you understand his dislike that term?
I understand where he's coming from, definitely. And he shouldn't take it as a knock because he's not just a gadget player, but he does have that ability that brings problems to defenses, to some of the things that he does. And I mean, it does make it hard on defenses, but he is much more than that. Like I said, he did a great job just, being under center and taking the ball on the handoff and running our inside zone, outside zone, or, those inside schemes. He's grown in that area as well.
Thanks, Coach.
George Bremer.
Coach, that running back group as a whole, having guys up there at the top like Nahiem and Taylor and Mack who are so unselfish, how much is that going to help you as you try to spread the carries throughout the season?
Well, it's definitely going to help. It's definitely a great room. Obviously, overall we have a great culture, but that room, those guys have been together for a long time now. Obviously, Jonathan going into his second year, but I mean, they've meshed very well. They communicate well. They hang out together. They're all pulling for each other to have success. And so just that support for one another is great, just having that in the room, and they're all going to be great.
Joel Erickson.
Hey, Marcus. Carson was saying last week that in terms of like how you tailor the offense to him, it's not just about it's not necessarily changing the playbook. It's also kind of the nuances of how you call the game. What did he mean by that?
Well, I mean, for the most part, it's not like we're installing a new offense just for him. It's schemes that we've ran with, with different quarterbacks that's been in this system, whether we ran it with Andrew prior, whether we ran it with Jacoby, stuff moving around, getting me out the pocket, and then some of the drop back stuff, I mean, with Phillips. So it's not like we're creating an entire new offense. It's just what fits for him, how we call the game as far as, what he's talking about, how him and Frank will communicate. The three of us have, just the flow of the game, first and second down, what are some good concepts to run, third down, what he likes. And that's probably more what he's talking about there.
So it's not necessarily like you guys are putting in a ton of new plays. It's more like a reordering of priorities on how you make the call.
Exactly. That's all we're doing, just going up and down of what fits him well and in order to make our offense success. I mean, not just what fits him well. There's some things that, well, this fits our offense well that we need to improve for him, that he needs to get better, get more reps at as well. So it's a blend of both. And that, not everything is just built around him, but is built around the, our entire offense.
JJ.
Hey, Marcus. Curious you spent so much time with Jacob last year, kind of, working after practice or whatever. Now that you've seen him on the field, where is he mentally and physically right now?
I was very pleased with what I saw over the last few weeks with Jacob, where he's at. Physically, you always knew that he can do it, that he had the potential, that he was going to improve in those areas because of his arm talent, of what he can provide out there. But mentally, you could tell that he took that next step, that he'd grown in that area, whether it's making checks at the line, recognizing coverages, recognizing pressures. I thought he did a great job with that. Just the conversations that we were able to have, that we weren't maybe able to have last year because of the quarterback room. Really wasn't for him to speak up as much, whereas this year he's more involved. You could tell he took control of the unit when he was out there, and I thought he did a great job while he was here.
With getting those reps, like what kind of determination did you see out of him, to finally get that on-field work over the last couple of weeks?
Well, you could tell he was definitely into it. He was excited about the reps, the opportunities that he was getting. He was locked in. Any mistakes he was trying to correct. You could tell he just wanted to get better. He was just excited about getting all these reps, having to make all the decisions, both pre-snap, post-snap decisions, and watch the film, go the next day, make those corrections. You could tell he was enjoying that part of it.
Jim Aiello.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up on that, and I have a separate one. But just with Jacob, how excited are you, and how excited is he that there's a preseason? We just saw the schedule, and that he'll actually get to play. He'll get to play some live action coming up in a couple months. I mean,
right. No, I'm sure he's very excited about it to get some live action. We're definitely excited. We want to go see what he can do now. Yes, we are seeing the growth from last year to this year, but we want to, as coaches, so that we can, grow that trust with him. We want to see that in live action. So. Looking forward to those opportunities, and he's still got time as far as to prepare and get ready, this offseason training and then as well into training camp. But when he does get those live actions in the preseason games, those are going to be huge reps for him.
The other quick question I wanted to ask was about Eric Fisher. I was wondering, you watched the tape, and one of the things that Frank Reich always said about Anthony Costanzo was that it made the game planner's life so easy because you could pretty much say he can handle things one-on-one and leave it be. I was wondering, when you watch Eric Fisher, if and when he returns to full health, is that the kind of left tackle you're getting?
No doubt. Exactly. I mean, that's what you're getting. You're getting a veteran that's done it and done it well. And so were we going to be able to trust that, where we could just line up, and no matter who's lined up over them? Yes. Our philosophy always to try to give them some help, whether it's a chip or a thump every now and then, just to give them a breather. But at the same time, we're going to be able to trust both sides, with Braden on the other side, which is going to be huge to open up our offense.
Mike Wells.
Marcus, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How's it going?
When you went back and watched Carson's tape from last season and saw the 50 sacks, how much of it was him holding on to the ball too long, the offensive line? And the second part of that question is, when you talk to him, has there been an easy transition in letting him know, hey, it's okay to throw the ball away? You don't have to try to hold the ball and, kind of make Superman plays when you're in the pocket.
We've kind of had those conversations, watching the film. I wasn't in that meeting room, so I don't know exactly what, all the reads were, in particular or if anybody made mistakes throughout the plays. So I don't want to speak on too much of what went on there. Obviously, he didn't have the success that he wanted to have, and he'll build off that. But I'm sure he's past that, and I don't really have any concerns with that. I know the kind of quarterback that we're getting. And then your second question.
Is it hard? Basically, when Andrew came back in 2018, when you guys came on board, that was something that Frank wanted to do. Say, hey, it's okay to, throw the ball away. Is that a hard message to get across to a quarterback who believes and has the confidence that he can extend the play or make plays happen?
Well, I mean, there's two sides to that. You don't want to take away that playmaking ability because he makes so many plays when he does that. He just has to be smart about it, and a lot of it's going to be his instincts and trust in him. So at the same time, we want to show him that it's okay to check the ball down to Nahiem Hines, though. It may be a 3-yard check down, but he can make it into 20. And just seeing that and trusting that. And, part of that, just showing him the film and then getting out there, getting those reps and understanding, what we're looking for here, where he doesn't always have to make a play. But at the same time, we don't want to hinder that. He just has to manage that to make the right decisions.
We'll go two more. Ken Sterling.
Hey, Marcus, kind of dovetailing on that, what's the biggest adjustment that you've had to make from one quarterback with a very specific set of skills and a style of playing to another quarterback that has a completely different skill set and a different understanding of how to play the game?
I mean, we've kind of had to do that. You know, the more drastic one obviously was going from Jacoby to Phillip. You know, from Andrew and Jacoby, it was kind of, I mean, at least they were here the same time as far as understanding the offense. They did something similar as far as being able to move them with the nakeds or some of the zone read stuff where we're able to extend plays with those guys to where Phillip was more just, obviously just a pocket passer, get the ball out quick. He wanted to be right all the time pre-snap. So he's making checks, to the last second of the play clock. Whereas here, with Carson, it's almost similar, kind of going back to the style of, they're going to be able to create plays. So you don't want to hinder him mentally too much, put too much in his mind, and just give him an opportunity to just go out there and play. And then, like I said before, with him, what he brings, that mobility where we can open it up and, move the launch point a little bit, just to make it harder on defenses.
All right, last question, George Bremer.
There's been some talk, at least, about the lack of a veteran quarterback as a backup to Carson. Can some of that be made up with Coach Reich and you and Scott and experience you have playing the position? Can you give some of that role for Carson in that way?
Oh, you're talking about as far as for Carson? Yeah. Yes, I mean, we have a great room with, Frank, myself, and like you said, with Scott, just the experience, that being able to communicate and talk in the meeting rooms, that's going to be huge for him. And what I love about him, he's very vocal in the meeting room, whether it's his likes, his dislikes. He's not one to be shy about what he doesn't like, which I appreciate from a quarterback, because he's a guy that's out there executing. If he believes in it, he's going to make it work. If he doesn't believe it, it's going to be harder for him to make that work. So I definitely appreciate that about him. But yes, he does have the support of a coaching staff that's there for him.